Hey, it's the podcast guy.
Sutton United Talk Time on podcast. It's the Sutton Podcast.
And there it is! Sutton United at the GM Vauxhall Conference have put out First Division Coventry City, winners of the FA Cup themselves less than 2 years ago. And what a moment to enjoy for the fans of this Surrey side. They've had their moments before, but never one like this.
But the whistle goes down. Delight for Sutton United. Sutton United from the National League are through to the last 16 of the FA Cup. No longer English football's perennial non-league club. A 123-year crescendo reaches a new peak for Sutton United, who are promoted to the Football League for the first time.
Hello and welcome to a special episode of Sutton United Talk Time on podcast. It's the Sutton Podcast. I'm your host, Mike, and we're in association with Lucky Star Gin as usual. I am delighted to be joined by returning guest, friend of the show. I don't know how we're going to go with this, but Paul Brunson. Hello, Paul.
Yeah,
how are you?
and fan of the show.
Fan of the show as
Fan
well.
of the
Oh my
show,
God.
yeah.
That's even more pressure. Let me know what you think of the episode. Do the likes, shares, retweets, and comments on social media at Sutton Podcast. Give us a thumbs up on YouTube. You know, all those normal stuff. And thank you to those who obviously do that already. As you can see, I've left the little cubby hole. I'm out of my comfort zone. We're in the boardroom. For now, we're probably going to get kicked out as soon as someone realises, because only officials. Go on.
Actually, I've got some news.
Far away?
You will not be kicked out. You know why?
Well, no.
I've become co-owner of the club.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So you can't get kicked out now.
Marvellous.
Yeah, you're with me. You can't
Excellent.
get kicked out.
Excellent.
This is it.
When did that happen?
So this has just happened within the last month.
Mm-hmm.
We have not. Well, depending on when you publish this, I don't know if we're public yet. But in this moment that we talk, we're not yet public.
Yeah.
But it just has happened within the last month or so. However, it's been in the works for quite some time.
Marvellous. So you remember a couple of months ago
Yes.
when we spoke, and I said you seem to be living life as a Sutton fan on fast forward.
Yes.
Did you think that was a challenge, or did you think I can step this up a bit more?
Yeah, I was like, this is actually quite slow. Let's see if we can. No. I tell you, Mike, this time last year, I never would have thought I would have even have been on a football podcast, you know? But the fact that we are sitting here in this position, I think is just testament to life takes us in all kinds of different directions. And I always say that, try to surf the waves of life. And that's what I'm trying to do.
Marvellous. Thrown a bit now. So you said you listened to the show. You obviously didn't listen to the one with Gary Otto where they're talking about investment and return on investments. So you went, yeah, I'll chuck in some money to Sutton as well.
All right. So one is, and Gary is great. Gary's become a friend. So I look at, from an investment standpoint, I look at football clubs like art. There was a great piece in The Economist not too long ago that showed that really, if you look at the valuations of these clubs, you can look at it in one of two ways. You could look at it as your emotional attachment to it and the emotion that it brings you. So that by itself is of value. You could look at the financial reward as well. That's another set of value. But let's look at the emotional side. So right here off camera, my son is sitting here. Just to be able to participate in a football club and have my son, walk around the pitch, because we can't walk on the pitch. Although I did, Mike, see you just on the pitch.
No, I didn't. I didn't cross the line.
You didn't cross the line.
I did not
Okay.
cross the line. I have never crossed that line. And apart from the one game I played, I never crossed that line.
That's fair. I was like, is he on the
No.
pitch right now?
I did give a little clue. I said to Jack, I might do a roly-poly. And he kind of looked at me and went, the clue was me doing a roly-poly on the pitch. Come on.
And Jack's like, no.
Not a chance.
I mean, but to just to be able to be part of this experience is priceless, for him. So there's emotion that comes back to me for that. It's what I know is going to happen at the club. That is emotion from the fan standpoint, from the player standpoint. There's that. I think the inspiration to other people to actively participate in a club. to step up their fandom, to another level. So that overrides any potential financial reward. But I also think that it's an asset, and I think that we can't neglect. My first career was in investment banking.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that there is a reason why you see a significant number of investors trying to get into clubs and wanting to be part of a club.
Just to sort of clarify, I have 4 shares in the club, so I'm part owner.
There you go.
I'm assuming.
So
I'm assuming your shares are slightly more than 4.
Yes.
Okay, fair enough.
Yes.
Because there'll be a lot of people out there going, "Well, I'm a part owner. Why don't I get on the podcast?"
This is true. This is true. It is many more than 4.
Good. So, aside from that emotional side, what was the tipping point? What was the motivation to say, "Yeah, do you know what? I'm going to do this."
All right, this is a great one. There are a couple of things happen. One is the embrace that I got from everyone. You, so many of the fans. I'll actually put the team ownership aside, but I'll just say that the fans and the community, I truly felt embraced. And as you said, it was fast forward. I felt like every time I come here, I feel like I'm at home.
Mm-hmm.
I feel comfortable. So that was part of it. Was just this feeling of, okay, things feel good.
Mm-hmm.
They feel good. Secondly, is I thoroughly enjoyed building a friendship with the existing owners.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of similarities, not just in our values, but also in what we'd like to see happen.
Yeah.
So that alignment, because I think you should have shared values with all of your partners,
Mm-hmm.
whether they be professional or romantic.
Yeah.
So there was that aspect. I also then started doing a round of heavy diligence.
Yeah.
So I started talking, and that's everything from watching every football documentary, like everyone, like it was Sunderland till I died. Like one weekend I binged the whole thing. So I was watching every documentary to then just going out and talking to people about, do they have reservations about going to local
Mm-hmm.
football matches? If so, why? What could be changed to motivate you, right? And so I look at that. And then lastly is I looked at how popular the English football has become abroad, and how it's growing in popularity, and how I believe that there's a trend towards non-Premier League teams.
Yeah.
Because of the community aspect. And so all of those spoke to me.
Beautiful. You mentioned documentaries. Are we going to have a documentary?
I will say I am in the television business.
Exactly. There we go. So how do you see your role as adding value to what we have? You talk about the values. How are you going to add value to what we've got?
So my full time is a television presenter,
Mm-hmm.
and also in media. So I think that piece I can try to help to bring value to. So whenever I'm doing any one of my projects, I can now talk about Sutton.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that when it comes to any type of entity, you want to have as many mentions as possible.
Yeah.
So I think I will be able to significantly increase the amount of Sutton mentions,
Right. Yeah.
not just within the UK, but abroad.
Yeah.
And that's just going to be helpful to the club. More recognition, more people interested in merch, more people interested in coming when they visit London. Let me find this South London team to come. So I think that there's value that's associated with that. I think I can also help on the commercial aspect.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of partnerships, to help to bring more revenue into the club,
Yeah.
which is incredibly important for all of us. And then from a fan standpoint, I feel like I'm at home when I'm here. I want more people to be able to feel like they can feel this same feeling. And so I want to help to increase the number of fans. The diversity of the fans, I think, is incredibly important.
Yeah.
When I look at the community of Sutton, I say it's the borough is incredibly diverse.
Yeah.
With regard to age, with regard to ethnicity, with regard to religion, with regard even to nationality. and so to be able to increase that diversity or help to increase that diversity. So all of those things I think I could do. The areas that I know that is not me is, I know very little about football. So that's something that everyone else has a firm grasp on. I'll stay away from that. I'll be doing this, on the side. So I think it's to pick the areas that I know that I can help to add value and stick to those.
Okay. And now you've done some acting. It was acting earlier, by the way, everyone. Just no training.
Right. Can I say, Mike, that was good though.
No training at all, just available for parties. But now you've done some of that. I'm sure Jack will be calling you to get you involved with some of the signings or some of his social media posts. So, I'll give you his number. You can block him. Don't worry. Now, I was told, and it's something I didn't actually believe, and I'm still a week ago, maybe a few days ago. There are very few black owners in football, and you're part of a very small circle.
Yes.
I mean, they're not bad names that I've got. if true, I haven't checked all of this. But, not bad names. I think it's LeBron James, who has done something with a bouncy ball, and Michael B. Jordan.
Yes.
And yourself.
Yes.
As a football newcomer, why could that be? I mean, it's a diverse thing. We've got so many different people in football. Have you? I suppose to dump that on you, but have you got any thoughts on why there isn't many black guys?
I mean, we can talk for days about this one. Mm-hmm. This was one of the motivation. It's interesting is, how shocked you were when you heard there are potentially 3.
Yeah.
And by the way, I've continued to do research on this. I've talked to, I won't give the names of the organization, but I've talked to now 2 organizations. I've talked to 2 former renowned footballers here in the UK, and I've asked them that exact question, and their response is, Paul, there's only 3 of you. Now, when you say that, most people are shocked. They're like, how could this be?
Yeah.
This doesn't make any sense. But when you begin to look at managers, percentage of managers, when you begin to look at percentage of board members, when you even look at the fans outside of the Premier League, if you look at the fans relative to the percentage of players of color, and I'll even say specifically black, you begin to see that there's a massive gap.
Mm-hmm.
Massive gap. And so I think it is both, one is it's kind of a flex to say, hey, it's me, LeBron, and Michael B. Jordan. Like, that's a flex.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But at the same time, it's sad.
Yeah, no.
And it stretches beyond, I think, black. If you look at gender,
mm-hmm.
if you look at sexuality, right? If you begin to look at these areas that create this beautiful fabric of the world, you realize that we don't have strong representation in the English football pyramid, if you will.
Yeah.
And so I'm incredibly happy and proud that the team welcomed me, the community, the ownership welcomed me, and I hope that we serve as a model for other teams.
Yeah, I mean, I'm slightly older, and I grew up with the kind of first wave of black players coming through. Second wave, really, because I knew the older guys, but then the younger guys coming through at the time, it was Arsenal was really, really strong, and I knew nothing about it until I started reading their books and stuff. And it's even now, it's just like that can't be right. I was told it, and I was like, no, that's wrong. We need to go back and check this. So, yeah,
but this is everyone. It's like, no, it can't be. And then you go back, you check, and you say, oh my gosh, it's checking out.
Yeah.
But even to stretch, because we're talking about black ownership, is part of the research that I did. Is I started talking to black families in and around London, and I asked one simple question. I said, have you gone to a local match? Okay, you went to a Premier League team. Have you gone to a local? And it wasn't 8 out of 10. It wasn't 9 out of 10. It was 100% said that there was a level of fear in going to a local match. And and I would say, what was the fear, or what is the fear? The fear is I feel as if that I could be verbally assaulted, or my family could be verbally assaulted, or we're going to feel uncomfortable. And I said, well, where, being the naive American, I'd say, well, where does that come from? And what was interesting is I think a lot of it comes from just the brand of it. Now, are there inappropriate words and behavior happening? Absolutely. Like, let's call a thing. Like, is it happening? Throughout throughout England or throughout the world? Yeah, it's happening. It's happening in the U.S. as well. So it is happening. But the question is, well, if you are, say, so there's one particular family I talked to. They are in their early 50s. They have a son who is 10 years old. And when I asked, I said, okay, so you're fearful? He said, yeah, I'm fearful. That's why I've only taken my son to a women's local match, but I haven't taken to a men's because I'm fearful of what's going to happen. I fear that we would be uncomfortable. I said, okay, where does that come from? He said, because when I grew up, this is the way it was. And I said, well, have you been to a match recently? He said, no, this is just the way it was when I grew up. And so this is how I remember it. And I said, okay, this is an opportunity to say that, you know what, things have changed. Do they need to continue to change? Yes. But part of that change is going to be you coming.
Yeah.
And so, it's a tense topic.
Yeah.
But it's a topic that we need to confront, because what I find interesting is that when you look at the UK is changing drastically, and the players, if you look on the players have changed with the makeup of the change of the population. But what has not changed at the same rate are all these things we're talking about: ownership, management, even fans.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I'm hugely biased, and I watch the game, so I kind of think, well, everyone would be welcome, but then anyone standing in my spot where it used to be, but they've given it to the away fans now, thanks Tim, they would have got some abuse, but not for any reason other than that's my spot, get out.
Yes.
But yeah, obviously, I've had this conversation with Sarah from her game too as well.
Okay.
And it seems like most of us are so blinkered watching the match.
Right.
We don't know what's going on 10 yards away.
Yes.
Because we're concentrating there. So when someone says, oh, this happened, well, that wouldn't happen, because it's your feelings of, this is my club.
Right.
I don't want that to happen. Therefore, I'm not going to see it. So hopefully, obviously, people will feel welcome at Sutton. Always want to feel welcome, and they've all got money, so bring everyone in.
No, I fully believe that Sutton is incredibly warm. And by the way, that's not just me. Saying that. That's even with I've been to a few matches and seeing those who have come with me walk away from me and mix it up with the crowd. See how warm and friendly everyone has been to them. So this is incredibly welcoming. Yeah, incredibly welcoming place.
Good. So, have you? Obviously, it's early days, but have you had any specific duties yet, or have you taken my advice and kept your hand down? Not volunteered for anything.
I see that if you just put a pinky up, then a lot comes your way. So I'm trying to keep it on the low. I did participate in helping with the new design of the kit. I have also been working on something really special that we're rolling out on September 21st called the Amber Army 100 Initiative, which is about increasing the number of fans that we have here. So these are two things that I've worked on. There are a few others.
Okay.
And I promise you, Mike, anytime I have hot news, before I go anywhere, I'm going to come to you.
Okay.
And there's something else too that I think will be of high value that I'm working on.
Well, we're going to talk about both the shirt and the Amber Army 100.
Okay. All right.
But do you have a 5-year plan, or do you see your role evolving at all in the next 5 years?
At the end of the day, is we have a chairman, excuse me, of the board. We have a CEO, of the team, and so my role is to play as a team, as a player
Mhm.
on the professional team.
Yeah.
And that is to do as is suggested to me.
Right.
So for the void or the areas to be identified and say, okay, Paul, can you help on this? And that way I can pick up the phone and help. That's how I see my role with the team.
Perfect. So you have led us on nicely to the shirt design.
Okay.
So what was your sort of process? How did that come about, and what was the design process like?
All right. So I mean, I've long been fashion fanatical,
Right.
and what's interesting is that I probably know more about kits than I do about football. So I've always worn various kits and just been a fan of the fashion of football. And with the Sutton home kit, one thing that always has stood out to me is every time I would come to a match, every time I'd see Sutton, is when you look at the shield from the borough of Sutton in Cheam, I think it was, 126 years ago, which is mad to say 126 years ago. But what always stands out to me, what stands out to you too when you look at that?
It's this coat of arms, and it's the little popinjay.
The popinjay, absolutely. The popinjay. We have undervalued the popinjay because do you know, a lot of people don't realize this. The popinjay is one of the smartest, not just birds, but animals.
Right.
Do you realize this?
Oh, I didn't have that.
If I were to say popinjay or owl, who would you say is smarter?
I would have gone with owl.
Everyone would go with owl. You know what?
They're wise.
No, they are stupid. Owls are dumb.
This is his opinion.
No. This is fact. I'm a researcher.
Okay.
I'm a researcher. Owls are not wise.
Mhm.
This is told to us. This is a myth.
Winnie the Pooh told us that owls are wise.
You listen to Winnie the Pooh.
Absolutely. Yeah.
No, do the research.
Mhm.
Popinjays/parrots are incredibly intelligent. So I was like, okay, the popinjay is undervalued, right? The popinjay. So how can we, specifically use this as our motivation? And so when you look at the design of the kit, what stands out to most people is that we actually have feathers.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're not just any feathers; they're amber feathers. Do you know symbolically what an amber feather means?
No.
You see,
This is
it's deep.
It is.
An amber feather means transition.
Right.
That's what an amber feather, and it means elevation. Okay, elevation and transition. What are we trying to do as a team?
Yeah.
We're moving up. We're going back to the EFL, right? So you've got so there's that. Also, the 2018. You remember the 2018 Nigerian the kit for the Nigerian football team. It was considered to be one of the best design kits. That was part of the motivation too, but behind ours. The dissolved collar, the dissolved sleeves, modern flow. Even if you look at the badge, which I have seen, I feel like there's a lot of people saying, I love the kit, but I wish the badge would stand out more, right?
Yeah.
I want the badge. Part of the idea, though, is to say, let the athlete speak for the team.
Right.
Let's take a step back and let the athlete speak. The other part with the badge that I'll say is that the badge is not fully embroidered, which means it's lighter. So from a functional standpoint, this could be, I don't know, Jack would have to confirm it for us, but it could be one of the lightest kits because the weight is in that. So for all of those pieces, I mean, there's a lot of thought into it, I think it's turned out beautifully.
That's the next 6 questions.
Oh wait.
No, the badge. Yeah, there was quite a lot, and so it's quite discreet. You've mentioned that it's to make the athlete stand out. I personally, I do love it. I'm not saying that because you're here. It's because for me, it's a little throwback to when we were little old Sutton and not such big time, and people saw the kit and they're all like, well, who's that? And you got a chance to talk to people about Sutton. So that's why I kind of liked that part. I wasn't expecting such a nice detailed answer. I thought you were just going, I like feathers. That was it. But what was the process? Is it just literally you're gone, oh, yeah, that'll do, and someone else picks up the slack, or were you involved each step of design as well?
Oh, no. There's a full, and by the way, is in the States we say process, but I prefer process to the point where I've started saying process. So if I say process, it's not like I'm mimicking you, because I like it. But no, there's a full-on process that goes. So O'Neill's is the partner, and they have a phenomenal design team. And what happens is it's essentially an iteration of calls where we're expressing ideas, and there's different members of the club who are on these calls and on these emails where we're expressing ideas, and the O'Neill's design team is coming back to us with various designs, and then we're going back. So it's this iterative process that happens, and it does take it took quite some time.
So I wasn't looking in this direction when you said you're really into fashion, so I didn't see if there was any eye rolls over there. But is it something you want to or would like to get more involved with, of potentially doing some sort of more casual stuff? Because there isn't really, I have to print my own stuff. So is it something that you would like to get involved in, or consider getting involved in doing more merchandise?
Absolutely. Merchandise is a huge revenue line for many other clubs, but also it's a great branding opportunity. To have someone walking around in New York City with Sutton merch on is a massive branding opportunity for us. So absolutely.
Yeah, I've never really got that, because here in the UK, lots of people wear shirts with New York City or Boston or something across, and it's like, I can't imagine someone in New York wearing a shirt that says Sutton.
Not only do I believe it's going to happen, I predict it's going to happen.
Perfect. And could the club say, you know what, we've done this now, someone else has got involved. Is this something we could have potentially with fans, doing a little bit of competition to design a shirt at some point in the future?
Yeah. So what's interesting on that is I have for my business, I have a team, and someone on my team, she pulled up different Sutton badges, and I said, "Where do you get these badges from?" And she said, "There are people online who are literally just saying, I wish I could change the crest to this or this to this for all teams."
Yeah.
And I thought, that's brilliant. So to be able to include, so the idea is crowdsource, and to be able to crowdsource design ideas, to crowdsource food ideas, to crowdsource, whatever the idea is, I think that's that's very important. It's very important.
Yeah. Okay. So onto the Ambrani 100 initiative.
Okay.
Can you give us a little bit more detail, and what was it that kind of inspired you to start it?
Sure, absolutely. So most of, or should I say, a significant part of my investment is going towards this initiative. And the idea is to allow people who have never attended a Sutton match to experience how beautiful it is here. That's it, in short. That's the idea.
Okay.
And I think the more that we're able to do that, the more fans we're going to create, and the larger our army is going to be.
Okay. So who is going to benefit? Who are we targeting with this?
So it is anyone who's not attended a Sutton game.
Okay.
So it could be someone who lives in Sutton and has just never made it down.
Right.
It could be someone who lives outside. So I live about 35 minutes away, but I live in South London, but 35 minutes away. A lot of I live almost in the it's Crystal Palace territory.
Okay.
Right. But it could be someone who lives slightly outside, who's never attended. It could be someone who has been fearful of attending
Yep.
their local, so they come. It could be someone who is visiting London, like a good friend of mine who's an actress out in LA who's visiting this week, who has never seen. She's watched Ted Lasso, like that's the most that she's gotten. She's never seen, but she would love to attend a real football match. It's for her,
Yeah.
you know. It is for essentially everyone who is not yet attended.
Okay, so it's not just kids; it's adults,
Exactly.
families. Oh, okay, excellent,
Exactly.
excellent. Does it include anything else other than free tickets, or is there other things in that program?
So I mean, this. I think it's going to be an experiment.
Mhm.
So even right now, I was walking around the pitch to say, okay, where could the Amber Army, be? So the idea is, or the Amber Army 100. But the idea is to create an experience that's unforgettable,
Right.
so that I almost want to recreate what I got
Mhm.
when I came. We could have lost. So just so happens
Yeah.
we won.
Yeah, we won.
So
Yeah,
things
yeah.
were better, But we could have lost, and the experience alone sold me
Yeah,
Sutton. So if we can help to recreate an experience that is unforgettable, I think that we're going to grow
lovely.
our base.
And when we spoke before, you said about your background with how you got started in the whole dating thing. We've seen so many sort of underprivileged kids.
Yes.
Is that something you're looking to do eventually in Sutton, sort of work with those?
I mean, absolutely. I want to see as many. I want us to grow
Mm-hmm.
and to look like the borough of Sutton. Like I think that we should reflect the community, and so to be able to have more, more people who live in the community here.
Mm.
This I think fundamentally that is important. And it's not just important right now. I think it's important for all. I'm sorry, not just important for us.
Yeah.
I think it's important for all sports clubs, all sports clubs, in terms of the viability of the future of that club.
Yeah, I remember speaking to someone from Mansfield, and their local doctors had the power to prescribe 2, 3, 4, 5 matches.
Oh, wow.
Because they recognised that going to these group events was a really sort of positive experience. So they give them things, and the club would go, yeah, come on in. So there's lots of little things like that.
So on that note is, I've been Coming back and forth to the club like today. And the last time I was here, we were actually here in this room, and we had one of the players was here. We had just different people were here, and I went around the room asking, why are you into football? Like, why do you play? Why do you watch it? Why are you a super fan? And you know what? Everyone said the same thing. I wonder if this is the case for you. Everyone said it was one of the only ways that I could talk to my father.
Yes and no. But yeah,
Okay.
I would imagine.
So now, this is what a room full of men said, right? So in other words, it was a way for them to talk to their father, and they said it was the only way, right, for them to talk. So from a therapeutic, from an emotional, supportive place, from a place of love, you see how fundamental a football club could be.
So you've mentioned obviously values. What does this kind of initiative show our values? How does it sort of increase, and what does it mean to us?
I mean, as a club.
Yep.
I mean, family values, I think I think that stands out. I mean, even you see in so many of the kits, it's like South London, it's family, right? So I think family is incredibly important. I think there's a level of ambition. There's a true David and Goliath story going on, right? And we're not Goliath, and there's a hunger and there's a desire, but I equate that to ambition, and I see ambition as a value. Because so many people, I think, are not ambitious, but I see that there's a level of ambition. So I think ambition is another value. I would say that within family, but inclusivity is a key value here at the club. So ambition, inclusivity, family. I think these are core values that are represented in the club.
Perfect. How can we, standing on the terraces at home, walking around, how can we help get involved? Is there anything we can kind of do?
Oh man, this is a great one. Is just to step up the activity. So I think social is massive, and I'm not just saying this because he's here, but I think Jack and everyone working on social, they've done phenomenal. Like I think the difference in the storytelling that we're doing on social is really good, really good. So what does that mean? That means engaging with the content. Because I'm a fan of the show. I heard Jack on the show, and something that he said is brilliant, but most people would not agree with it. But I agree, and that is, even if you have something negative to say, comment on it. Give your opinion of it. I think that actually, transparency is a value of the club, and and I think that through what we're doing on social is we're beginning to show how important that is. So engaging on social is very, very important. The right amount of engagement can take one piece of content, and instead of 5,000 people seeing it, 500,000 people can see it. So engaging in all the content, I think, is very, very important. That's one. Secondly is, actively asking what can be done. And then sometimes not even waiting, but just taking the initiative to do it. Like, I'm not going to try to gas you up, but Mike, you're a great example of this. No. But you are, and everyone knows this. Is that, did you ask permission to do this podcast?
No.
Okay. That's what I'm saying. Like, just do it, right? Did you ask permission to create?
Oh, this was my one.
Yeah,
this is the Sutton United Talk Time podcast.
Yeah, I mean, but it says Sutton United on it. Did you ask permission?
Yeah, I've got another one at home which definitely didn't ask permission from us or Superdry, to be fair.
See, but you just created it.
Yeah.
I think that's part of it too. Is just create. Like, we're all part of a family, so it's like ask for forgiveness later. Just create. So just do it. So I think that's another part of it.
Yeah, and also on the South London football family, I think a few of us owe an apology to Jack, because all of us were like, what the hell are you on about? That's rubbish. So sorry, Jack. What does success look like in this program? So how are you going to measure it? How are you going to say, yep, I enjoyed that? And is it a 1, 2, 5 year thing?
Yeah. So you're talking about specifically the MBR 100 project.
Yeah.
So there's a whole bunch of KPIs that we've set out. I mean, one is I have hired someone to just work on this project. Right. So that's how near and dear it is to me. Her name is Natalia. One is going to be in the number of people who are coming to the matches. That's very important. So, but through the project.
Yeah.
So that's going to be important. Second is going to be their experience. And I think third is going to be how we've been able to convert fans. And there's different mechanisms that we're using to see how they converted into a fan. There's a lot of theories on what constitutes a fan, and I think that if we've reached if we've taken someone, we can place them in that camp, then we've won. Mm-hmm. And remember, a fan can live in LA, right?
Yeah.
A fan can live in Manchester, but we would love to see more fans in South London and in Sutton.
I mean, it's fairly similar to, not quite the same, but what Harry is doing with the foundation. He's doing a lot of reach out things. Is there any kind of crossover there?
Yeah, so it's interesting. So Natalia's already had a long conversation with Harry, and there's a lot of, I know my friend's like, stop using the word synergy. But in this case, this is an appropriate use of, there's a lot of synergy between what we're doing. And Harry's already shared a massive list to us on organizations that we can reach out to. Wow. Firefighters, police officers, like people who work for the community. in the hospital, so, but absolutely, there's a lot there.
We're going to wrap it up soon.
Okay.
There's a few more. What excites you the most about your future with the club as an owner or a creator as well? What's the thing you're most excited about?
All the wins.
Yeah.
All the wins. I think this is part of it, is that it's like, okay, we're all smart people, and we understand like, it's okay, there's a business side, but we're going to win. We want to win, should I say. And so there's nothing, and this is how I know football's in my blood, is there's nothing like a win. It changes your whole week, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, change your whole week. So I'm looking forward to that feeling.
Definitely what Rosie would tell me. So you've hinted, but are there any projects outside of the previous two that you can give us a sneaky peek at yet, or they're
I'm working.
under secret?
I'm working.
Cool.
Know that I'm working. When we were negotiating everything, and I was talking to Ben and Gary, I remember they would say, like, it's addictive, to the point where, because I said, what I would like to do is I would like to be able to support, but just spend about 5 hours or so a week. That's what I want to do.
Should have spoke to me. I would have told you.
Yeah, it's like, it's impossible. It's impossible. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm now dedicated. I'm working hours upon hours. So, yeah.
A small scale, it's like this. I was like, do you know what? I'll do a chat with some people after a match. How much did it take?
And then look.
Yeah, suddenly it's every day. What is the one thing you'd like fans to know about you and your vision for the club? So not the club vision. What would you love as your vision? And I'm not saying it will happen, and it can be as wild as you like. But
that I want to win.
Yeah.
And I want to increase the brand of the club. So, and I think that's, I think everyone wins. Everyone wins that way.
Perfect. We mentioned social media.
Yes.
And how important it is. So we will wrap up with a little soundbite.
Okay.
What message would you like to give to the Sutton United fans, Amber Army, to close, and what you want from them?
I would say thank you for welcoming me and my family, because I bring my boys all the time, so they have loved it. So I say thank you for doing that. Continue to do that. And when we talked about how you can get involved, is please, social media, starting initiatives. We are a family, but we only grow as a family when we're all engaged.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's an excellent place to stop. Thank you very much.
Mike, thank you.
You're more than welcome. Thank you, everyone, for your ear attention. I'm still getting that in, Joe. And please give us your feedback, share this episode. Let me know what you liked, didn't like, and what you'd like to see me do again. I'm available for bookings for acting if you want. No training, very reasonable rates. Thank you for your time, Paul.
Thanks
for
Mike.
our sponsors, Lucky Star Gin. Take care, and we'll see you all soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.
United!